Tuko hapo sasa.
Okay.
So good evening, everyone. It's nice to come to you all live at this time. And it's been a joy. We are coming to the end of our After I Say I Do episode. And this month we've been talking about the difficult journeys that many times we go through when we are in marriage, not just necessarily marriage, but life in general. But and so today we talk about the loss of a child or the loss of children. And I'm really, really honored to have Hannah and Peter, all the US. Good morning, Hannah and Peter.
Good morning.
Yeah, it's really nice to have you. I know you've just woken up. Here we are just getting on to our evening. So thank you for the honor of just waking up to be with us in the show this evening. And it's a joy to be here. And I'm your host, Pauline Gikang'ah. Always a joy to come to you on Fridays at 7:30. But today is a special one because we needed to link our time with their time and when they are not working. And so that's why we come to you live on Saturday at 5:30. So I think without further ado, the best thing is first to allow my guests to introduce themselves. And of course, let me start with Hannah. Hannah, tell us a little bit about yourself first, as you say hello.
Okay, hello. I want to make sure that I'm being seen. I don't know if I'm being seen because I can't see myself here at Zoom.
Yes, we can see you.
Oh, you can see me. Okay. Thank you so much, Pauline, for having us in this platform. My name is Hannah Wariara Koinange Kibugi. I'm married and we live in the US. So I'm glad to.
Thank you, Hannah. So over to you, Peter. Please say something about yourself as you say hello to the viewers.
Hello, viewers. My name is Peter Kibugi, all the way from California, San Francisco, and I'm glad to join you guys.
Wow, thank you very much, Peter and Hannah. It's a joy to have you here, like I said earlier. And I maybe the first thing I would want to ask is maybe how long have you been married, and how long was it? Were you married before we're coming to the real issue that we're talking about today? So maybe Peter, you could tell us how long were you married before that fateful incident caught you, and maybe how long are you married now?
We were married since 2015.
2003.
Sure?
2003.
Oh, 2003.
I don't know. Yes.
I'm poor with the dates.
It's all right.
But we officiated our wedding on 2012.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow, that is nice.
Yeah, we've been married before that.
Okay. Yeah. All right. It's nice to hear that. So maybe Peter, you could take us through how was life for you before maybe the children went, you lost the children. How was life before for you? Where were you? What were you doing before that and all?
I was working in Qatar.
Before?
Yes, I was working in Qatar before the loss of the children. And working away from them was a bit stressful because all I could do is talk with them on the phone. And I stayed for 2 years before coming back on holiday. So for the 2 years, I didn't see them. It was quite stressful, but thankfully, I could always talk to them on the phone.
Okay, so for about 2 years, you are working away out of the country.
Yes.
All right, so Hannah, over to you because Peter was away, and would like you to just take us through from wherever you'd want to start, maybe the day before, just take us through your journey. What really happened?
Okay. My journey with the children was very, very good because they were very joyful, and they were children who loved God. And my old daughter, who was 25 years by 2016, was a worship leader in our church. And and I was a lay reader in the church. So you can see how vibrant our relationship was in church and in ministry. And in the year 2016, that is when, in May, that is when we had something going on at home back in Banana. And so we traveled there because we used to live in Roy. And when we traveled, when going back home, is when we met this dark incident that really brought the dark side of our life. That's when the accident happened there in Kamakis. And that road in Kamakis, that's where we met a lorry. The lorry was swerving, and the lorry just came to our side where we were driving on our side. We were driving left. I'm confusing because here we drive on the right. So the
Yeah.
side, and he was swerving, and he was a drunkard driver. And all of you that know this story, or who are knowing the story for the first time, I'm sure you'll be able to get more insights on this incident, because I've also shared it in all my YouTube channels, and it's there in the YouTube channel, in NTV and all that. And thank you, Pauline, because we are also sharing this, because probably who don't know. And so we met this incident with a lorry, and the lorry, crushed us. And there's a steep, like a ditch, and the lorry, continued, because it's a big lorry, it continued throwing us to the ditch, and I was thrown out of the window. And when I was thrown out of the window, I didn't know what happened. And because now it's a steep dip, and the children were in the car. Me, I was thrown outside the window. I don't know the details, whether the children were also thrown out, but all I know is that they were above, and nobody was seeing me, because so many people came and they were trying to, either rescue or see the situation, how the situation is. And I was down there trying to call everyone, and nobody was hearing, because I wasn't able to wake up. When you're in an accident, you're not able to wake up. So I'm trying to shout. I can't shout because I didn't know what was happening to me. And that's when a lady in rubbers passed by. She was trying to go up, and I caught her leg like this, but I think she thought it was a snake. So she ran. And so I tried, waking up. I tried, trying to wake up, but I was not being able to wake up. And I was wondering why I couldn't wake up. And that's when somebody saw something moving. They had torches, and they could, because I think they were just looking, and they saw me down there, and they said, there's someone down there, and I think that person is alive. That person is also moving. But so I told them, help me stand up and go back to my children and check on my children. Before that, when the lorry banged us, I first didn't know what happened. And then I said, oh Lord, we are involved in an accident. Lord, please take me home. Forgive my sins and take me home. Then I changed that prayer, and then I quickly changed that prayer. And somebody is normally confused in that state. Then I changed prayer and said, oh Lord, I do not want to die. I haven't finished your job yet. I really want to, I went on. And then before I could finish the prayer, that's when I was thrown out. And so when these people were coming to rescue me, I was telling them, please help me stand up and go check on my children. And they were telling me, your children are okay. It is you who we need to take to hospital. And I was confused because it happened so fast. You know, they took me up because I couldn't wake up. I couldn't, you know, they saw, I think they must have seen how I was bleeding, but me, I was not seeing because my head, I can't even be able to see and look at myself. So they took me to the pickup, and the pickup, I was laid down, you know, just behind the pickup, you know. I was down. I couldn't sit. So I was just laid down, and they were always telling me, they were always assuring me as we are going, we are getting to hospital. We are just near the hospital, because the hospital was a walking distance. It was not so far. Those of Ruiru and you know, that road of Kamakis, most of you know that. I was rushed, and they were always assuring me, we are reaching the hospital now, we are taking a turn. I think they were trying to make sure that I'm still alive.
Yes.
And in the hospital, they came running with the, you know, the hospital, I don't know what they call them, the stretchers or the beds, you know, and and oxygen, because I was having difficulty in breathing. So they took me, and I was always asking, where are the children? Where are the children? And they told me, the children are in that car. And but it was difficult, you know, trying to communicate. Remember, my words were not coming out well, so it was very hard for me to communicate.
Yes.
Because of the injuries that I had. And so I was taken in the hospital, and you know, they gave me oxygen immediately. We reached the hospital, and then I was taken inside, and they started tearing my clothes. And I asked them, what is wrong? Am I injured? And they told me, yes, you are injured, but you'll be fine. So I had them saying that I need to be taken to Kenyatta Hospital immediately. This is an emergency. I was here. Yeah, so, but I was not able to talk to them much, because then I asked them, where are the children? Have they come? Have they reached? And they told me, yes, your children are in the next room, and you'll be able to see them, but let's first, you know, get you, you know, healed a bit. Because at that time I was not feeling any pain. There was no pain, absolutely no pain. So there's no way I would have known that I'm even injured, because that's why I was asking, why are they cutting my clothes? What's happening? I think I must have been numb. So that's when now they asked me the numbers of my relatives, and I couldn't remember any number. And I told them, numbers are in the phone, and the phone is in the car, and there's a bag there. So if I can be brought those two things, I would be able to give you the number of my relatives.
Yes.
So they called one boda very quickly, and he came and he asked me for money. And I told him the money is in my bag. I don't have any money. I mean, I was brought to the hospital in that state, and there's no way I can remember about bags at that time. I was remembering about children, and I was not even remembering about my bag or anything.
Yeah.
So he asked for money, and I told him the money is in the bag. So if you bring the bag, I'll be able to pay you. And so he went. He didn't come back. So yeah, we waited. He didn't come back. We don't know what happened. Maybe he didn't meet the bag. Maybe, I don't know. We don't know what happened. We cannot for sure say what happened, but he did not. And remember, there were so many people there.
By that time, yes.
By that time, you know, there was, you know, there were so many people at that time there. And he did not find the bag. He did not come back to tell us that he didn't find the bag. So, or maybe what happened, you know, we don't know what happened. So he didn't. Then one of the nurses came and said, I know this lady. This lady is a preacher. And I know the church she preaches, and I know the people that they preach with. I know the other fellow lay readers, and I have contacts. So he called the lay readers, because when they called Kenyatta Hospital, I normally know that after. At that time, I didn't know. So Kenyatta Hospital demanded for money before the ambulance, because they were saying I have to be taken by ambulance because it's an emergency. So Kenyatta Hospital, you have to pay before before they release their ambulance. And
Yes.
I think then that's why they were asking for the numbers. So they called my lay readers, my fellow lay readers, the lay readers that we preach in church with. I'm an ACK lay reader in the Anglican Church, Archdeaconry, Makongeni Parish.
Yes.
So, so that's where now they called, and the lay readers came immediately. They are the ones who paid the money. I normally know that. I didn't know that then, but later on, you get to know the story, what happened.
Yes.
They paid. I think they didn't want me to know, but I came to know, and thank you. Yeah, they paid the money. I think it was about $8,000. $80 here. $80. It's $80.
Yes.
So that and that's 1,000 Kenya shillings. And so they paid the ambulance. And then when they called my now relatives, because they have the contacts of my relatives, and that's how everybody was notified. So when my mom was coming, they met that they were told that now, because the ambulance came immediately after they were paid. And when my mom now they were coming, they were told already I have been taken to Kenyatta Hospital, and they followed the ambulance. But the ambulance was so fast, so they came, and they came to the hospital. And now this was an emergency whereby I needed to be taken care of, because yeah. And then in Kenyatta Hospital, they brought those beds that they bring on the car, and I was put in those beds very quickly. And then I was taken to the emergency room, and all that happened at that time. And in the hospital, just to cut the story, because a lot of things happened there. And my mom is a prayerful woman and used with me. And all that time, nobody's telling me about my children. There's nothing I'm being told. And in the hospital, I stayed in the hospital, and I had 5 broken ribs, and my chest was blood. It had a lot of blood in it. And so they had to put in something inside to draw the blood. And that was very difficult, because drawing the blood, I can't wake up. And anyway, even if they were not drawing the blood, there's no way I was waking up. So I was lying flat in bed, because now I was now in a lot of pain. The pain now came. I was in a lot of pain. I couldn't even wake up. I couldn't even lift my head. So when people were coming to visit me in the hospital, I was talking to them when I was lying down in the hospital. So many thank you to all those that came to see me. And then my hand, there's some meat that came out from the hand. It was also very painful. And to date, I also have a scar that reminds me, there's a very big scar there on my hand. Yeah, and then I was, a little bit bruised on the face, but that, that healed. You can't tell, but I can tell because small scars that I have, but those healed, and there are some very small, minimal. Now, here was the thing. I had a blood chest. This blood chest, you can die any time. All the doctors that know about this, it's a miracle to survive when you have blood in your chest. I mean, everybody said this must be a woman of God, even the doctors.
Wow.
Yeah, so because it was a miracle, because a lot of people were praying for us globally.
At that time.
On earth was praying for us, and all those God had them. And
so at that point now you're in Kenyatta, they are treating you. Peter, have you gotten any call by this time from anybody?
Yes, I received the news immediately. The accident happened. I received the news from one of the people who are trying to attend to them or to rescue them. Yeah, he told me his name is Derito, and he's a police reservist. And so he told me, but he didn't tell me about the deaths. He only told me that My car, which was KAM 372F, had been involved in a very serious accident, but they were taken. My family was taken to the hospital. He didn't give me the details. So I got the news immediately the accident happened.
Okay. And after he called you, did anyone else call you?
No, I'm the one who started calling I called my parents. I called my mother-in-law. They told me they had received the news and they were on their way to the scene of the accident.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How was that for you, being away and you're trying to call? How was it for you that time, Peter?
I'm telling you, it's not easy because now you are relying on people. There's nothing you can do much. You are relying on what they tell you. The only thing you can do is hope that all is well.
So they got to the hospital. When they got to the scene of the accident, did they call you back?
No. After they got to see what had happened, I think they decided to first deal with the situation. Then later on, they would let me know. Yeah.
So at what point did they call you again? Because this time Hannah is still in hospital, of course. So at what point were you called again now to be told what had happened?
They called me the next morning on Monday. Yes, they called me and they assured me everything was okay. All the family and the children and my wife were in hospital being taken care of. And I was to continue working without any worries. So I think that's what they had decided to assure me.
So at what point? So a day has gone and another day. Hannah is still in hospital by that time. Hannah, yes. What
Yes.
was going on now by the second day?
I continued working. But then on Tuesday morning, that's when my cousin called me. His name is Sami Mbogwa. He told me that all the children had passed away. But my wife was in hospital.
Wow, how was that, Peter?
It was bad. It was very sad. So I told him, let me now start making arrangements to come back home. It was really difficult. But then thankfully I had a good company. They supported me and I had good co-employees. So once I told them what had happened, they gave me a lot of support.
Yes.
So immediately after he told me that the children had passed, I got ready and I went to the office. That's about 20 kilometers away. I went and I told the office, the HR, told them what had happened. And so they told me they start making arrangements for me to fly back home. Yeah.
Wow,
So
wow.
on Thursday, that's when I flew back to Kenya.
Did you have someone come with you or you flew alone?
I flew alone. Because where I was working, we are all from different countries. So if anything happens, you just fly back home alone.
So Hannah, you continued being in hospital. How did it continue?
Yeah, when I continued, I was now in hospital and they were now taking care of all those things that were happening in my body. And I was in a lot of pain. It was so painful. And when I asked about my children, they were saying, you are in so much pain. Let us first make you healed. And then the children are already in your mother-in-law's place. They told me the children are in my mother-in-law's place. But there was something in me that was doubting, although I did not tell them because I was in so much pain, you know. But I was seeing there's something amiss. There was no way I was seeing like that is true. I was always seeing there's something you could smell, you could see something is not right, but I was just waiting and waiting and waiting. So now I'm in hospital, and they finally drained the blood. It took so much time to, you know, drain that blood. It was a miracle, you know, draining that blood. I've shared it on YouTube channels how it was, and it was a miracle in its and now the ribs take long to heal, so there's no way they could heal in the hospital because they were just healing them. The ribs were healing themselves. Then here, now, so they took me to, you know, to, I think they stitch. I can't remember. I can't even. Did they stitch? I think they stitched. They stitched. They stitched. But I was still in so much pain, you know, because all different doctors were attending to me, because there was a different doctor for the chest, a different doctor for this, a different doctor for, you know, the ribs, and a different doctor for checking my whole being, you know. So all that different, and I don't know whether there was also something else, because these are the most things that we were concentrating on, especially the chest, where the blood to be drawn, because I was not always breathing well. So one thing I would also want my viewers to know is that when somebody is in hospital, and especially somebody who has lost their children, what my relatives did, I had a prayer partner, and this prayer partner advised my relatives that they need to stay, even if there were doctors and they were attending to me so well. Thank you so much, Kenyatta. And I needed, you know, more support from relatives. So he said that a relative needs to be there. Of course, during the day, there was always relatives because of crowds, and anybody who is crying was not being allowed in to see me because I would know. So there was, until you finish crying and wipe your tears, so that she doesn't know. We haven't told her about the children, you know, but she doesn't know. So there was a lot of control. And then at night, my prayer partner advised my relatives that somebody needs to always be with me in the room. So you know, just to, you know, prayer partners normally see far, so that they are with me and they are praying with me, and at least I have someone to talk to. And I feel, even if I'm not talking, there's somebody, I feel somebody's there all the time, 24 hours. I had someone who, that really played a lot of, you know, a lot of healing to me, because I could see there's somebody, you know, there. So, and that really was very good, because I remember one night I tried, because I was being told I have to sit upright for like 2 seconds so that the blood draws, and I couldn't, because it was so much pain. So my relative, my cousin, or whoever is in the hospital, was always doing that for 2 seconds. And I remember one night is when now I was, she had me, and because they were not allowed to sleep by instructions from my prayer partner, when you're there at night, you don't sleep, you just Hannah, you be there for her. And I remember that night is when I was not able to breathe nicely, and I think there was a whistling sound or something, and she came running, and that's when now she put me, and she told me, Hannah, 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 Hannah. She was so scared because she thought now she's losing me, and she took me, she forced me, and all the blood. That's when now all the blood, you know, came out. That was on the third day that the blood, came out. And it came out through the, you know, through the thing that they had put inside me. It came out, and she started praising God, and, you know, and I was screaming in pain because it was so painful. But then I was now able to breathe, and I told her, imagine I'm now able to breathe. Gosh, what was happening? She told me that was so scary. And when we shared with our prayer partner, that time he was already praying, and many other people were praying. So you can how, you know, when people come together, there is a lot of power when people come together and just supporting. That support was very important to us. And
so by
here,
that time, Hannah, you still don't have any
I
news.
still don't have any information. So at that time now, I have I'm now able to breathe. I'm now able to talk nicely because the blood, I think that blood was probably the problem. The big problem in me being able to breathe well. So now that now Peter has been told, and now the pastors now have known now, because I had so many pastors, my friends, my pastors, my all everyone, my archdeacon, all of them had come and gathered. Pastors even from other churches, they had all come. Bishops from other churches, they had all come and gathered, and wondering how to break the news to me. And they asked, but now this I know now later, you know?
Yes.
Yeah, one of them told me, and you know, because they saw I was strong and they were now sharing with me, showing me how God works. So they are now asking themselves who is going to break the news to Hannah, because the husband is coming and we don't want the husband to be the one to break the news to Hannah. And they all said, they don't know, they can't be able.
Yes.
It was too hard for them and too painful, because they knew me, they knew my journey, they knew how an encourager I was, and they didn't want to see the other side of me, you know, breaking.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they said, we don't know now what to do. And one of them said, I think the best thing is to get somebody, the counselor from Kenyatta Hospital, to come and break the news, because that's how we'll be able to know what to do when Hannah breaks, and when all, you know, when there's nothing now we can do. But you know, God is the counselor, you know. So they went for the counselor in Kenyatta Hospital, and they all came and they bought new handkerchiefs, white, because now they were saying they want to be ready, all of them. Things, you know, things become uncontrollable. And so they all gathered in the room, and I knew, when I saw them, I knew there's no good news these people are bringing me. I mean, they all come, they gather around, and there were so many, so they gathered around the bed, and then the counselor was now in the middle, and the counselor told me, Hannah, at that time I'm still not able, by the way, to wake up.
Yeah.
You know, I'm still down there in pain. So they told me, Hannah, but now breathing a bit. Hannah, there's something that I need to tell you, and I want you to be ready, because there's something that we need to tell you. And I told her, I'm ready. Just tell me whatever it is. I was, by the way, ready for anything. I was ready for anything. I mean, I have suffered that pain, and now tell whatever it is, just tell me. But I didn't know, I didn't predict that it was that painful, you know?
Yes.
Painful, yeah. So she told me, now, Hannah, you have to be ready. The news that we are going to break to you, just be ready. And I told her, I'm ready. Just tell me. And she told me that there's something bad that happened. Something bad happened. And in the accident, we lost all your children, and none survived. Yeah, so what I told her, these are things of God, and this God who always comforts is the God who will comfort me. They belong to God, and this God is the one now who should come and comfort me. God had those words. There's no way you can proclaim in such faith, because that is so much faith you are believing God so much that you are just saying everything is his, and now you, God, who has taken away, come and comfort me immediately. And God came immediately. That was faith. And you know, all that power that, you know, all the people of God were surrounding me, you can imagine how much they were praying. When people of God are now surrounding you, despite not even telling you, probably they said, we better back her up in prayer.
Yeah.
And somebody else to tell her. So, and the whole world was also praying. And all relatives, everybody in the hospital, the ones who had come to visit, knew that the news was being told to me about everything. And so they were praying. And I knew my prayer partner was also fasting. My relatives were also fasting for that.
Yeah.
Back there. I know that because I was told.
And it was already on social media, wasn't it?
On social media, and people were just praying. So you can imagine what prayer does. I'm a product of what prayer did. When people
Wow, that is
this is the result. There is power in prayer. And there is no way God would have let me down. God and comforted me. And he gave us power, new power. Because I remember there was the bishop's wife, one of the bishops, our friends. And she told me when we were going to view the children, she caught my hand and felt such power because she was beginning to cry. She felt so much power. She felt her tears were already white, and she felt so much power. She told me that. She told me I felt so much power.
Wow. How old were the children, Hannah?
The firstborn was 25 years in 2016. 5 years by then. Then there was a girl. She was a girl too. And there was a secondborn. The girl was 11 years. And then there was the boy. The boy was 7 years. And grandchild was 2 years.
And it was 2 years. So by this time, Peter, have you arrived when Hannah is getting the news?
No.
No. You had not arrived.
No. Because they told her, they broke the news to her on Wednesday, and I flew back on Thursday.
On Thursday.
Yeah. That they had.
So when you arrived, where was your first place to go? Did you go to hospital?
Yeah. I met somebody at the airport who took me direct to the hospital, to Kenyatta Hospital. So I stayed with her the rest of the day because I got to Kenyatta Hospital at around 10. So with her till around 6. Then on Friday, that's when she was discharged the next day.
So did you go and view the bodies? What happened?
Yeah, after she got discharged, we went to view the bodies on 26th of
You're
May.
the one who went first.
Yeah, first I was taken by my cousins and friends. Yeah. Then after she got well, we took her.
How was that for you, Peter?
It was not easy seeing all your children laying on the table. They were. It was tough. It was not good. It was not a good scene. Very easy, yeah. But at least the morgue attendants had done a good job of preserving the bodies.
So Hannah got well and got a bit better and was able to view and then the burial happened. Yeah. So how the burial happened? Mm-hmm.
Me, when I went, they had already said I'm not going to view the bodies, because I think they wanted at least that strength that I have. They didn't want to interfere with that strength that I have. So what they did, said that I'm not going to go and view the bodies. So it's not good. Everybody was saying it's not good. And because they thought if I now go to view the bodies, it will be worse. So they would do that way strong. So I told them, no, I'm ready to view the bodies. I remember that it was that bishop that took me, the bishop I'm telling you, with the wife, and my pastor then, Reverend Mutua. And there was also another reverend that also came. And they are the ones that came for me when I said that I'm going to view, I want to go and view the bodies. They all came for me, and we prayed, and we went to view the bodies. And I must say, if I did not view the bodies, I would not even believe. I would think that they, but viewing the bodies is good if you're strong. That is, but it is also good. Then we went to view the bodies, and I remember we also called the parents of my granddaughter, because it was not fair for them not to come, because they were also involved.
Yes.
So we went to view the bodies, and when I went in there, I just saw them lying. I won't, let me say like it was. The bodies were brought, and the bodies were looking okay to me. They were looking so well rested. They didn't look like they even struggled. They looked like, well rested. That was so calming to me, because then you are like, because now you're a preacher, you know these things, that we are all not staying in this world. Even if it is painful to feel that you are the blood is, God just gave me that strength. And I saw they were lying so nicely, all of them. I touched them, and I was saying a prayer and telling them, I know where you are, you are with God, you're with Jesus, and this is the gospel that we preach, because I always preached about, going to, dying, and, the bodies, this is a plastic, and, but the soul goes to heaven, the soul is not dead. And that's what I was saying. The soul is not dead. It's just, this is just the body, and we'll be given new bodies. When you know that, and you just see that, and they were lying so nicely, that calmed me. That, that was okay to me. And I felt good that I saw the bodies, and they were okay. They were lying so nicely. And,
Wow.
yeah,
It's
I could see the peace, and I touched all of them. I touched them. And I think this is God, because I always preached in people's, I don't know how to call them in English.
the mashakaya, the maombolezi.
Yes, I was always the one who was being called on phone. That time I'm working, and I'm being told, you are the one who is preaching in this mashakaya. You're the one that was God preparing me for something also that will happen to me. I was the one who was going to preach to people, and they were getting so blessed. And this is now my time, where now God said, now the God that you preach there is the same God that you are going to experience. And I experienced the Lord that time. Yeah.
Amazing. How was it for you, Peter? Did you feel that way towards God, or what did you feel towards God at that time?
I think you just accept the way things are. You accept this. The accident happened, and they didn't survive. So there's nothing much to think about. You only accept this that happened. They didn't survive. My wife survived. That's it.
That was the situation. All right. So after the burial happened, and I know there was so much of the press was all over you and all over the screens. How was that for you? Was it something you noted, or you at that point there was nothing? You just moved on and did the burial.
This age of the social media, there's nothing much you can do to control the news getting out there. So you just accept the way things are. Yeah, and so you just flow with the situation.
For me, it was very powerful. Just seeing people, coming for you all that time, and now the when everybody is with you, the real situation is taken away from you, because then now you're hugging people. You're taken away from there, because then there are other things you're doing, and you're like, you have come for me, you have come to console me, you have come to encourage me. That was power. And then the news, it was good that we were able to air, they were able to air those kind of things, so that somebody can see it is not only them that are suffering. People are going through stuff. They are also, so you have lost one child. I remember we got so many calls, even today, I still receive calls. And they say, I had lost one child and I thought I had lost it all. But when I see you have lost all your children, including your grandchild, I just get so much, and you're so strong. I get strength from you. Then there are people going to commit. I have received a lot of people who are going to commit suicide from Kenya and from even here in the US. And they watch our story and they say, I don't think I have any problem. I think I have seen somebody who has enough problems and is strong, then I have to also be strong. So we have encouraged people through this story, through the media, through everything. And that's why I decided, let me also go through YouTube, through Facebook, to encourage people. Yesterday, there was a lady, she called me and she thought she has had it all. She just watched my video and she's now born again. I mean, and even that day of the burial, we received people who received Christ and said they want to know this God that is strong, this God that you can lean on in time of trouble and he still helps you. This is somebody I want. So
wonderful. So take us through. So after the burial, how was life after that?
Oh my goodness. Life was, let me say, the journey of grief is a very difficult road, but it is manageable when you know God. But of course, there are those things that you go through. When you go home, we went home to an empty place. Then the next morning, you're going through to the bedrooms. The bedrooms are full of, their shoes. I remember there was a lady who came, and she cried in my daughter's room, because she was always the one who was always coming and playing with my daughter. And, she knew the children so much. And I realized this is time to remove this stuff, because these are reminders. And we also need to help people and move on. There was a friend of mine who, helped me with all that. So it was very difficult, seeing all these things. But before we got rid of all those things, it was very difficult, because I was saying, like, it's the children themselves I'm removing. I was rigid at first and saying, I can't remove these things from, I can't remove their shoes. Their shoes need to be there. Why am I removing? Why should the beds? I was always going to their bedrooms and making their beds like they're there. And then are bad, and then you see their bikes, you wake up, they are no longer there. And let me tell you what happens. Sometimes you may not see it, you may not see someone crying, you may not see, because that's what we look at people. We look at people, are they crying? Are they what? Oh, this person must be strong because they're not crying. But that's not it. When we stayed because there was a picture of the children in the sitting room. Once Sundays, I used to wake up and, make myself, and I would not be able to take tea, but then I would not even be able to go to church. I would just sit there from morning till evening. I was not able to wake up. You know what that is? It's grief that's eating you,
Yeah.
but you can't tell it. And that's how people get depressed. When
Yeah.
people are not visiting you, people need to visit you. People need to, we received visitors every day. Every day we used. So this helps. Somebody is now not, you don't have that room to start thinking. Then you are able to laugh because people are coming, they are making jokes. It's not bad to make jokes when people are grieving, because you need that person to, to feel the body needs to open up to something new. Because if the body is rigid and you're just thinking about this, depression starts taking in, and you start feeling like you don't want to live in this world. You also want to die, and what are you living for? But those people that know that there's a higher power, that when things don't make sense, when things are too hard, there's a higher power that you can rely on, and there's that person that you can take all your troubles to him. So it was a journey. It's been a journey even to this day. Yeah, it's a journey. And people who are grieving, I always say, are people who are like annoyed. Those people are normally not annoyed as in,
Yes.
I don't know how to put it, but people who are grieving are people who are, hurt because something precious has been taken away from them. So it's very easy for that kind of person to get bruised by something. So it's very, very crucial to take care of such a person, because that person is easily bruised because that person has lost something so precious to them.
Wow. So Peter, how was it for you?
It was good for a number of days when we had visitors, we had somebody staying with us. But once the people start slowing and the person living with you leaves, now you are left the two of you. Now that's when I think reality hits, that you're now just two of you in this house, and you have to start thinking about moving forward. Where, like, we decided to take their stuff out. There's a lady who came and she helped us clear the rooms. And when you're doing that, it's not easy, very painful, but these are things we have to do. So we started clearing some of their stuff.
Were you able to travel back to work, or what did you do?
Yeah, I went back to Qatar to clear with the company. I stayed there for 2 weeks. Then I flew back to Kenya because I couldn't all alone. Yeah, I could not go back and work there and leave her all alone.
Yeah.
So I had to go and clear and come back.
Wow. So maybe there was that day it was just you two. How was that for you when there was nobody? People were coming, so you were just that two. Do you remember a time when you were just the two of you? What would you say was the hardest part of that?
The hardest part is the silence in the house. Well, when you've talked and now you've decided to do your own things, then the silence in the house is too much. And the empty rooms, the bedrooms, you go into the bedroom, there's no child there. It's very difficult. Very.
What about you, Hannah?
Yeah, me, I always enjoyed when I was coming from work. They would always be at the window shouting and saying, "Mommy has come, Mommy has come." They would always, and then the grandchild, they would jump, and then when now I'm reaching the door, they would now come and hug me and feel good and before, and then they would take my bags, they would take everything, and then they would come for my hair, and then I would sit down and they do my hair. So I used to enjoy those moments every time when they are coming. Why they were not coming out is because I had dogs, and sometimes, and it's at night, and sometimes they don't want to come out, so they are on the in the curtain, and they are looking outside, you know, when you're driving in and you're seeing the children, you know, doing the cut, you know, peeping you in the curtain and jump, shouting and saying, mommy, 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 mommy. You feel so nice, you know, and then you smile. But then now all of a sudden, of course, I didn't go to work for a whole year. And thank you to my company. Capital Colors was a great company to work for. They even closed, I mean, they closed that day and came for the burial, all of them. They even were ushers in the funeral, and I really thank them. So they gave me a whole year to just grieve, and they were paying me for a whole year. So this was very powerful to me. And they always, by the way, they always used to come every day to the hospital, every day. Work was now not normal. That period when I was in the hospital until the burial day, people were just crying. And when they received the news, it was bad, and they closed that day. And I really thank God for that. Yeah, so I thank God that I received a lot of support from so many people. I can't even be able, sometimes I talk, and then after the interview, I remember, oh, I forgot to mention this one. I forgot this one. And yet so there were so many. I may not remember all of them right now, but we remember them always. There were very many great people out there that really helped us and supported us. And every day we had visitors in the house. Yeah, we had visitors every day. They would come in their numbers. We also had the Sociani group. There is a women in Umoja. They came. Thank you very much, Jane. Jane Mwangi, Sociani. I don't know whether I'm pronouncing it well. The guild, women guild there. They came and filled our house, and they packed. They had buses, they had their private cars, they were full. And it was such a blessing. And many, many, many other people, and so many churches would come. By the way, all the churches that came, thank you so much. Churches would come, and I would be told, this is this church, and they came. And it was such a blessing. That's how we also received encouragement through that. We were visited. So many people. Every day there would be groups and groups of people who are coming after the burial. Now the burial was something else, because that was so good.
So there was such strength from having people around you.
Strength. There's no time that I was quiet. Only that time on Sundays. On Sundays people are going to church, so Sundays not so much. But these other days, there would be so many groups coming to visit us. So we were, even when he went to Qatar, when he was away, there were still so many people coming. So many people came, and they would tell me not to cook. I was not cooking. Anyway, I was still not, strong to do a lot of stuff. I was still in, the pain went on for long, and I was also going to Kenyatta Hospital, and when the car was being driven, I was, feeling a lot of pain, and the person would drive so slowly because that vibration would make my hand feel so painful. I was in so much pain still, but I was sitting. But eating was also a problem. I was not able to, I found food, and I was wondering, why do people eat? These are the things I know that somebody can go through grief, especially now, not being visited by so many people. And if I didn't know God, you can imagine how it would be. If at that time I'm having all those things, despite all those things, I'm still finding I don't want to eat. So you can imagine how it is for somebody who is not being visited. It would be so bad. It's good when who are grieving, let's be with them. Even if you're not going to tell them anything, just being there is strength enough.
Wow, wow, amazing. So,
Visiting. Yeah.
so months went by, 1 year. Are there decisions you made that for as you continued on with your grieving journey?
Were there any decisions? It was difficult because then I didn't know what to do, because people are the ones who are coming. Every person was telling me this, another one was telling me this, another one was telling me this. And so I was not able to do any decisions. Only the thing I was able to do is change the house. There was this person now, this friend of ours, Florence Munge, who is a good friend of mine. She's the one who came and told us that we need to remove the things from the house. We need to remove the baby stuff, you know. So we removed that, and she said she's gonna do it. And she didn't want me there in those rooms, but I told her I'm strong. I just want to be there too. But at first I refused. I had said no. I was saying like we are taking away the children. And I remember there was one reverend that came and told me, because I was putting the bike inside the sitting room, just there. So I don't know what I was thinking. I put it inside the sitting room every day just to see it. That was my son's bike. So, and he told me, why am I putting the bike there? Then I told him, no, I cannot give out this bike, because if I give it out, it's like I'm giving away my son. So, you know, there's something he told me, and it really changed how I looked at things. And he told me, do you know what you lost was more precious than that bike? And I said, okay, I'm holding on to things, and these are not them. So then from then on, it was, I started releasing. So when my friend was coming after I refused so many, I told her, now it's okay, now we can remove them.
Wow.
To come in here. Then I told her, I'm strong now. I see things differently. There's this reverend who told me what I lost was more precious than this thing. So now I'm not holding on to these things again. So,
Those things again. Okay.
so I
Peter,
released everything. Yes.
Peter, at what time did you make the decision to relocate?
This was in 2018. So that we sat down with the family and we decided, yes, if there's an opportunity in the US, so we could move to the US. So my father-in-law, who's Hannah's dad, he helped us a lot, and that's why we're in the US now.
Was it was it to help with the healing?
Yes. Yes,
So,
they were really concerned, yeah. So they decided these people need to be away from their home so that they can start the healing process.
how has it been since you relocated? How has the journey been?
At first, the journey was difficult because settling down in a new country and experiencing new culture is not easy. Then there's paperwork. You need to have papers that can legally allow you to work, to stay in the US. So after we got all those papers, now things became easier. We can move freely without any fear. Anywhere we go, we have the papers that legally allow us to be in the US. But for the few months when we came in, it was a bit difficult.
It was difficult. Hannah, how would you say the relocating has really helped you in the journey?
For me, relocating has helped me a lot. I am now feeling better because there are no reminders, and not no reminders per se, but it's better, you know. I'm not seeing the schools they used to be in. I'm not seeing things, you know, that can make me grieve more. But I am now in a country that things are new, And this is where we would want to be, away from, away from all that kind of thing. And this has been, it's a good country because there are good laws here, and we enjoy being here. At least this is healing me well. So this is for us. This was the best decision we ever made.
Wow, wow, that is good. And we thank God even for the opportunity that you are able to go. Yeah. So
Yes.
what would you tell a couple out there? Because there are many difficult situations that couples go through when they are married. And maybe to start with, what did this experience do to you as a couple? How did it affect you, maybe positively, negatively, as a couple going through that very difficult time?
Yeah, I would encourage couples out there. There are so many things that couples experience. Maybe some may not experience loss like the way we have experienced, but there are so many things that couples experience. And the thing is, for a couple, it's good to be together in everything that you're facing. Be together always. And just know that you are facing this, both of you. And both of you may see things differently because you may not see things like the other person. So it's good to understand what the other person is experiencing and what you're experiencing. And above all, love and respect should come number one. And number two, I would also want to encourage couples who are staying together. If you can, that is, if you can, do not walk away from each other. Always, be together so that every time you are eating together in the same place, sleeping in the same place, and not, I don't encourage couples. I know we did this, but through experience, it's not good for a couple to walk far. It damages the marriage. It's not a very good experience. There are so many things that you meet along the way when couples are not working together. And if you're not a strong couple, then you may experience that a marriage is breaking because when now you're away from your spouse, it's not a good thing. And I know I've talked about these things even here in the US. I have encouraged couples here, and for here, yeah, that's how they do it. But I've encouraged people to live together because that's why you came together, to live together. You didn't come to live together so that you look for, for money, so that now you're just, looking for money and coming to now say, now this is what we've earned, this is what we've earned, so what do we do? And then now you go back again. You are together to live together and to be together, not away from each other. Once you're away from each other, it is not a good thing. So I would encourage, if it is possible, couples to live together. And number two,
Wow.
if you experience loss in marriage, also face this together. And for us, we are lucky because we did not experience external negative things. Of course, there are things that I've been a lay reader in the ACK church, and sometimes we would go and you experience there's a lot of fighting, despite people are losing, and you would experience there are things that people. So it's not good to listen to external. Be together, you and your wife, because there's a lot of fighting out there being fought, so it's good just to be together. When you're together, you are always together, and just talk. Communication is also very important, because sometimes you can be told things out there and it's not the truth, and then you come in your home and you start beginning to think, now you're not communicating. It's good to communicate, because there's a lot of things out there. There are things that happen. There are people talk, people do a lot of talking out there, and if you listen to so much, it's just like social media. If you listen to a lot of social media, it damages you. So if you listen to outside external things too much, it damages the marriage. So the marriage is about a man and a wife. And
Thank you. Wow.
Yeah, together. Don't be shaken by anything. Face things come, but face them together, and you will be, when you're together, you are united, you are stronger. Nothing can damage. And God being your God.
That is so powerful. What would you tell a couple out there, Peter?
That life happens. Good things and bad things will happen in this life we are living in. And it will test your faith. It will test your strength in marriage. It will test your trust in marriage. So it depends on you, how you overcome it, because life has no guarantee except death. Things will come, good, bad, all these things you'll experience in your marriage. So it depends on how strong you are.
Wow. Thank you very much. I mean, it's an honor, like I told you, and I'm telling you, my viewers, that to just sit and interview you, I must say that all I can see, yesterday I posted and said, yes, I'm a counselor and we are counselors, but there's a counselor of counselors. And I must say that is the counselor who has worked with you, because I mean, you cannot imagine. There are things we cannot imagine. And we tell people, when people are going through grief, you do not tell them that you understand. I cannot tell you that I understand, because I cannot understand. So we can only imagine how difficult the journey has been, almost 4 years now. And we just pray that we don't know what God is doing with your lives, but we continue praying for you as you continue on healing. Thank you for being there. I know it's morning, and Peter, I think, is about to go to work. And so we need to release you to go to work. Here we are getting into the night. And so possibly as we wind up, what would you be your short parting shot? Maybe we can start with Peter, and then Hannah, a parting shot, and then we can finish.
My parting shot is that people need to stay together, needs to be strong together, to have that trust in marriage, and whatever comes their way, they need to be strong. Be strong.
Thank you. Hannah?
Yeah, my parting shot is always never give up. Don't give up your marriage because of things that you're seeing, things that you're hearing. All these things have been there, have been experienced. But if you continue opening your eyes and seeing the bigger picture about how God formed us to be, you'll always experience great joy. I love God because He's there 24 hours. And He tells us that anything that we find difficult, if we have a lot of luggage that we have that are heavy, burdens that are heavy, we can take them to the cross of Jesus Christ, and He'll lighten the burden to you. Sometimes you're a counselor, and when you talk to people and you tell them, so what is this that is making you see like life is so hard? And when they share and you show them how life is, and they feel like their burdens have been lightened, and they see, you mean this is what has been making me see like this is such a big thing? Some things we make mountains out of them, but they're not mountains. They could be some little small thing that is making, because the devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy. Once we know that the devil is coming to steal, kill, and destroy, then we are able to know that he has nothing in this world. This world belongs to God, and everything in it belongs to God. And if we know that our source of power is God, and whatever it is that we ask from God, He gives us, then we are not to be worried.
Wow. Thank you very much. And so, viewers, I told you, Hannah and Peter gone through so much, yet coming out, sharing their journey, and encouraging us. And we pray for you to continue on with your journey. Thank you, viewers, for tuning in. We look forward to having you next Friday, same time at 7:30, as we go on with a new episode for the month of July. So from all of us, is have a lovely evening. And for you in the US, have a lovely day. And the Lord bless you, Hannah and Peter. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.